Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We spent the first part, we multiplied and divided. So what we're going to do today is we're going to add, and tomorrow we'll subtract. So to add and subtract, you have to have a common denominator. So if I was going to add this, the common denominator, is x, and that doesn't change. And so when I add 2 plus 3, so I get 5 over x. So this is not hard. So the 3x doesn't change. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Plus. So 6 divided by 3 is 2 over x. Okay? That was not difficult. Well, you don't have a headache yet, but you're going to. Okay. So, if these were the denominators, I want to know how to find a common denominator. All right? So, first of all, before I start, if I was doing a common denominator, if you were going to add, Javon, don't talk. You don't. So if I want a common denominator here, what is the common denominator?
4.
Really? You can divide 4 into 8? Or 8 into 4? No? 8. You need the bigger number because you can't divide the big one into the small one and get a common denominator. Oh my gosh. Just for the record, this is like 4th grade math. 4th grade. Okay. Okay, if you are counting on your fingers, fine. Okay, so look, 8 is the common denominator. And so when we find the common denominator, those of you that were actually finding it correctly, this is what you're doing in your head. This is a 4, but this is 4 times 2. And so what you're saying is, I need a 4. Both of them have a 4, but I also need a 2. So it's 4 times 2, and I got 8. Yes. Okay. So the same thing works if I have 1/3 plus a 1/6. So the common denominator here would be 6.
No.
You stop talking.
No. I could have. Look.
So they both have a 3, but I also have to have a 2. So 3 times 2 is going to give me 6. I'm not sure. Again, I think 4th grade math. So I do want to look at this one, though. So if I'm finding a common denominator here, both of you stop! All right, so look. The 4 is 2 times 2, correct? And the 6 is 2 times 3. So I need a 2. I need a second 2, and I need a 3. So 2 times 2 times 3, 12. So 12 would be, okay, so you guessed. You totally guessed. Completely guessed, and just could have said 24 just as easily.
No, if you did 24, you have to reduce it so you still get a 12. Yeah, exactly. Got you there, didn't I? Got you, didn't I? Give him credit.
Oh my. All right, Javon, you got it right. All right, so does everybody see what I'm doing here? Because you're going to have to do this.
Like you did 2 times 2 times 3.
Why did you?
Okay. So to get a common denominator, because this is important, listen. To get the common denominator here, there's 1 here, right? And there's 1 here. So I only need 1 of them.
Oh, because there's 2.
So there's 2 of them here. I need 2 here. Right. So I already have this one, so I need the 2 2s and a 3. Kind of. It is. All right. Oh my gosh. You know, I was almost done with my last class. Where's my... Okay, so, yeah, we're not even to a complicated part. So if I'm going to factor this, so this is how these factor. To do a common denominator, I need one of everything, unless there's 2 on one side, like underneath the 4, okay? So, to get a common denominator, I need this. I need this. I don't have this yet. Do I have one of these? I do, so I don't need another one. So that's going to give me my common denominator. Well, for now. So here, the 4x squared minus 16. 4x squared minus 16. If I factor out a 4, I get x squared minus 4. So how does this factor? And then 6x squared plus 12x. So it's not a trinomial, so I can't do a times c. So what do they have in common? 6, and what's the lowest exponent on the x? So that leaves me with x plus 2. Okay, this makes me a little scared, but so we need one of everything. So I need an x plus 2. I need an x minus 2. I need the x plus 2, but I already have one, so I'm not going to add another one. I don't have an x yet, so I'm going to add the x. So I have the 4 and the 6. So what's the common denominator with 4 and 6? 12. So that would be the common denominator. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we're just looking for the common denominator. It's a lot of writing, okay? So this is how it's going to work. If I'm going to add these, I have to have a common denominator. So my common denominator, I need this, and I need this. And then this is how we work this. I'm going to write the number that's over the x minus 1. I'm going to write it down. So what's under the 2? Minus 1, right? So what's not under the 2? This is not underneath the 2. The 1 is definitely under the 2. Yeah. This is not. So I'm going to multiply this times what's missing. Well, let's write plus 3. Right. So what's underneath the 3? The 2x plus 1. What isn't underneath the 3?
X minus 1.
So I'm going to write x minus 1. We're going to distribute and combine like terms. Huh? It's really not. So this always stays the same, and then I just combine like terms on top. It will. That's going to be the answer.
Oh, where's the 3? You know, I'm just, that's 8. Wait, 4.
All right, so if I factor over here, So if I factor over here,
X plus 2, X minus 3.
yes. How about minus 2 minus 3?
Minus, no.
Yeah?
No.
Yes.
X plus 2, X minus 3.
Plus 2 minus 3 makes a negative 1.
What? We had Javon, I'm sorry, I can't back you up. Not on that
Ain't
one.
that a negative 7 though? Or, well, not 2X.
I know.
I'm on the wrong.
Which one? Right, yes. So, I'm ready for the common denominator now. Well, some of us are ready, some still are trying to factor. But those of us that are ready, we're just going on. So, this factors to... So, I need an x minus 2. So, I'm going to write that down. I need an x minus 3. I need an x plus 2. Then this is x minus 2. Do I need another one? I do not, because I already have one. So, now, listen. We start every problem the same. What's over here?
3.
I'm going to write that down. So what's underneath of it?
The 2X.
I have x minus 2 and the x minus 3. So what's not under it?
X squared plus 2 more. Minus 4. X squared plus 2.
I don't even know where you get that. Okay, but look, you have to factor this. I've already factored it.
You're right.
I know. And then plus 2. So, Javon, look, it's the x plus 2. We used it already. The x minus 2. So what have I not multiplied by?
X minus 3.
Oh, hallelujah. Distribute and combine like terms. Say that again. Because it's the 2, and that's what's missing underneath here. So the 6 is canceled, and it leaves me with 5x. So I'm going to write the 2 down, right? So underneath the 2 to start with, I have x plus 2. I have x plus 2 and x minus 2. So what's left? X minus 3. You see? Or no? Okay. Let's try another one. So I don't need any of that. All right, how do we factor this one? 20 and negative 9.
3. No, 4. 5 and 4.
And they're both negative. And this one? So I have 25 and negative 10. Correct.
Wait, do we even write them? We do x minus 5, x minus 5. You only need one of them, right?
Okay, so listen. Okay? Okay, so I need an x minus 5. I'm literally going to shoot an arrow at you if you don't be quiet.
water.
No.
Cisco will let me have
Shh. Don't give him any, Cisco. All right. I need a common denominator. So I need x minus 5. I need x minus 4. So watch. I need an x minus 5. I have one. I need a second x minus 5. Do I have a second?
No.
I don't, so I need one more. No, it's really not. If you have 2 under one thing, you have to have 2.
This is so weird.
So I'm going to write the 1 down. I'm going to write the 1 down. So I have this one, and I have this one, so which one am I missing? So I'm going to multiply times x minus 5. Then I'm going to write the plus 5. I have this x minus 5 and this x minus 5, so what am I missing? So I'm going to get x minus 5 plus 5x minus 20, which is going to give me 6x minus 25. Okay, so this factors to x plus 3, x minus 3. So I need an x plus 3. I need an x minus 3. So do I add another x minus 3 here?
No,
Why?
because you already got one.
I already have one. I would add another one if I had 2 here, but I don't. So I just have 1. Okay? So now, watch what happens. I'm going to write down my 8x. I have the x plus 3 and the x minus 3. So was I missing anything?
No.
So am I going to multiply 8x by anything?
No.
Don't make the crap up. You're not missing anything. Don't multiply it by anything. So next, we're going to have the x minus 7. What am I missing? X plus 3.
Oh,
That one made sense, not the other one.
yeah, this one makes sense. For real, you don't put that.
All right, so what do I do now?
You gotta do the line thing. You gotta multiply.
Okay, so we have to distribute.
Oh, it's gonna be squared.
It is. So I end up with x squared, 11x minus 7x is 4x minus 21. Minus 21. I got a positive. 11 minus 7 is positive. Yep. 3 and 7. 8 and 3 is 11, minus 7 is 4. Okay, so one last thing before we quit here. Does the top factor?
Yeah.
It does.
It does. 3 and 7.
7 and negative 3. So when I do that, I get x plus 7.
Do you put the minus 3 up there or no?
And it cancels out.